Welcome back. This is Channel 1 News Check, and today we are looking at the state of politics in the country, and more specifically, we are indeed looking at the role of religious institutions, that is the temples, the mosques, the churches, the synagogues, in creating harmony. And especially right now, we have barely a year to the general election, and of course we have the BBI and also the by-elections that have taken place, and also we have some that are lined up to take place. And Bishop David Thagana, of the presiding bishop and the founder of Outreach Glory Ministries, is my guest today. And before we had that break, Bishop, we had talked about, when we come back, we're going to look at the civic education. And during the 2010 constitution, I do remember the church was very vocal in terms of what the document contains. And I remember we had so many meetings with religious leaders actually to chart the way forward when it comes to the 2010 constitution. That is just before we promulgated it. But now we have a lot on our plate. We have the by-elections, we have the BBI, we have the general elections, all that taking place within a span of a year and a half. Civic education, perhaps, on what the role of the church or religious institutions in making sure that their congregants do know exactly what is happening in the country and how actually to abstain from things like incitement and other things. The church and the religious institutions do have that mandate, right?
Yes, yes, we do have that mandate, and we do that. We do that to the best of our ability. Mm-hmm. Civic education is a role that the church really does in and out of the church forums. The challenge is nobody seems to recognize that role. So the church is like it's on its own doing that role of civic education. Mm-hmm. The example you have given is very good. During that constitution moment, the church had been recognized as an agent of civic education. Mm-hmm. It was empowered, and people, we went down and did the civic education. Empowerment included even translations of that very document that time, and making it simple for the people. Mm-hmm. So we had something a resource to learn with in the civic education. And like now, I think the feeling is that this processes, like the BBI, are more political processes than they probably should be. And that is the cause of all the problems that we are having. Because if they were not political processes, if they were regarded as with the importance that they deserve, like constitutional moments when we're trying to look at areas that we can make better in the constitution, and they're regarded as national matters of national importance, then we'd have had translations of those documents into simple language that the church can learn with. The church would have been empowered with that to take to the people. Right now, you just translate. Even the people themselves do not know what it is, because, again, with a lot of drafts that has come along, and a lot of drafts, and it's very difficult to tell which one. I was looking at my file of all the drafts from the first one, yes, including the newspaper drafts and every revision. It's so difficult even to tell which is the BBI report today. So with that, civic education becomes difficult, because the civic education is critical and is very effective when you have one document that is agreed upon. Otherwise, the church has a law of civic education. We're still doing it, but it needs to be more structured. It needs to be more formalized. It needs to be more empowered. It needs to be funded. It needs to be funded so that everyone is not doing it on their own. So that is if we did that, I think we'll do much better. Right now, what we are left with, we are left with mainly to control the temperatures that the politicians have raised by their utterances. So we are all the time just
already
cooling
in a political mood. And actually, that was supposed to be my next question. How do we tone down political temperatures in the country, and what is the role of religious institutions in assisting the country to do that? Because of course you have a huge following when you go, when we look at all the religious gatherings that we have in the countries.
First and foremost, the church, and I believe this is happening, we should desist from participating or taking sides in these political positions that people are taking, because all people belong to us, and we are Kenyans. We are people who have been placed at a point of being the voice and the moral conscience of the people. Then if we took sides and appeared to be belonging to a certain side, it becomes very difficult to arbitrate or to help or to mediate. So the church still needs to play that role. We cannot keep off because we are in the same nation, we're the same people, but we can fail to take sides so that we are able to help our people. And we also continue cooling those temperatures, because our people hear statements and they go crazy because they want to learn with what they have heard. But we need to really speak to the people in authority, and the politicians themselves and the top leadership, to, as much as we do and whatever all we do as a church, they bear the greatest responsibility when it comes to uniting the people, when it comes to leaving the people, to having the people work. They should stop making political utterances that are just fanning these ethnic fires. And of course we need to also speak to the cohesion. The team, the people in the coalition, they are the most silent, and we don't know why. They should be speaking out. They should be taking our responsibility when these statements are made. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen, then we will have a lot of work to keep just cooling the temperatures and praying for the nation, when it's like somebody is lighting the fire here and has all the fuel lighted, and another one is putting off the fire.
Yes, actually, hold the thought, because we are also going to be looking at security and, of course, what religious institutions can do to assist security-wise. We are looking at Kapedo the last couple of days, and, of course, some young people are drawn into groups that they think they are fighting for religion, in quotes, but it's not the case. And how do we mentor young and upcoming leaders? Because when we talk about politics, we have to talk about leaders. But right now we are crossing over to Nairobi's Serena Hotel, where professionals and political leaders from Marsabit, Mandera, Garissa and Wajir counties are talking about insecurity in the region. Let's listen in.
Share of government position and demanding his replacement by one of their own. The CS, being a national figure and holding a challenging assignment of critical service to the nation, has no time for their petty, ill-guided aggression targeted at advancing primitive political discourse of yesteryears. As leaders seated here before you, and leaders from this region and the neighboring counties, we therefore demand that these leaders should be held accountable for inciting communities against other peace-loving Kenyans, in particular those appealing to their communities to arm themselves, like some leaders have stated in their statements. These leaders should be given ultimatum to remove the local militia for peace to prevail within Marsabit County and the counties neighboring Marsabit County. These tribal chiefs, led by the governor himself, are hereby informed that their actions are more detrimental for their people, as the other communities of all these counties are now more aware of the intentions of direct displacements and will not be cowed into submission, whether they use their local instrument of force or propaganda and blackmail against anyone or communities. These said leaders should give chance to the security operators to do their work, instead of propagating and claiming to know more than the job holders themselves. Leaders should desist from going to neighboring counties to incite and cause suspicion and hatred among communities who have been living together peacefully all along. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What my colleague has just read are statements mostly related to Marsabit issues. The issue between Isiolo and Wajir County, and specifically Isiolo North and Wajir West, has happened the last 3 months. It has been taking place the last 3 months. We have been trying, as you know, leaders from Isiolo have had more than 5 press conferences about that matter. We in Wajir were persuaded by the fact that the government was organizing a meeting between leaders that is going to have a solution, which, as you all know, took place yesterday. We have deliberately decided not to respond to those statements so as to give chance to dialogue. We still believe in dialogue. We are prepared for peace, and we are going to do everything possible within us to engage with these people. But there must be a partner on the other side interested in peace. For the last 1 month, I have been trying to engage my colleagues in the National Assembly and the governor of Isiolo. This morning, before I came here and before I decided to join this press statement, I was trying to look for them. It is difficult. It seems they want to deal with one region, deal with Garissa now, put the problem of Wajir under the cover, come for this. So they are not interested in peace. We want to tell, because we have no conflict that is centered on settlements and anything else. We have a dry spell in Wajir. Our livestock have come toward Isiolo, just like theirs used to do when there's drought on their side. There is absolutely nothing else. We don't want these leaders and government to support them in balkanizing the nation, that this is our region, this is our area, this is our land. Kenya belongs to all of us. We don't want a situation where we balkanize and do, segmentation of the nation, that this part belongs to this community, this part belongs to this community, until Kenyans cannot cross to each other, cannot cross over to each other. They know very well when they had drought on their side. We accommodated them, we gave them our pasture, we gave them our water. We will still do if they will have drought. We want to request them and plead with the government and those leaders to come to the table and bring their people to the table, so that this nonsense of people killing each other because of pasture to stop. In any case, no government security apparatus can tell our people who are grazing in Isiolo that we are foreigners and we will go back to where we come from, unless they want to tell us, because some of them are telling us they are supporting BBI that brings the country together.
Indeed, that is a presser by a cross-section of leaders from the northern region talking about the recent cases of insecurity in the region, and some of them we've been able to pick a few of what they are calling upon, of course, asking the government to be more proactive. And they want leaders who are instigating and who are fanning insecurity to be held accountable. And perhaps Bishop David Munyiri, Thagana Outreach, Glory Outreach Assembly. We had been talking about that. Yes. Incidentally, we're talking about security situation where you find even the youths are being used, and mostly they are used just as we approach elections. And the same thing is what is replicated there, as leaders are castigating other leaders who are fanning and adding to the insecurity problem that we've had in the northern region for quite a while.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's what we've been saying. That's what we've been saying, that the political leaders ought to realize that people in this country, they are more important than their political power. They are more important than their agenda, individual agendas. So dividing them along tribal lines so that you can lull them, that is very unfortunate, and they need to stop that. They need to stop that, because, and this is what I asked earlier in this conversation, why don't we have these conflicts when we don't have talk about elections? Yes. or something like BBI where people are taking sides? Why don't we have that? Because we Kenyans are peaceful people. And the politicians need to let us live as Kenyans, as one people, people who pledge their allegiance to God, people who love human life, and they should stop dividing us. We also need to ask the people, the various agencies that are charged with the responsibility of protecting the citizens. There are various arms of government. There are people who do the arrests, there are people who do the investigations, there are people who do the prosecution. All those chains of people, they need to do their job. Because I strongly believe that this country has got very, very effective and very strong security agencies and systems, if only they were to operate free from political interferences. That's why when you listen to leaders like those, they are just pointing this governor, that person, other person.
Yes.
And even myself, I do a lot of work, development work in Turkana, among the Pokot, among the Turkana people. And when I go to listen to the people there, they help one another, they live as one, they are one, until when a politician comes and talks about this position, supporting this position, or supporting the other position. So we need the government and the top leadership first to stop speaking statements that can divide the people and fund those political ethnic divisions.
Yes.
Secondly, to ensure that the various agencies are doing their work. If a person is going to kill another, there should be a way of knowing who is doing exactly that.
Indeed.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our time is up. Your final word, I can see Tom from Kiambu is talking about we need to add some minutes. This conversation is actually helping. And Andrew Vincent Vincent, he's also watching and saying the show is good. As we wind up, 1 minute, please.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. I just want to speak to the Kenyan people and tell them that as religious leaders, we have the heart of this nation. We pray for this nation, we pray for you, we want unity, we want to see people working together. And also we would like you to play your part of not allowing yourself to be divided by the politicians. The youth refuse to be used. The people from different communities refuse to be used. And politicians, just know that people are more important, the power and the position that you would want to take. And let us all live together in unity. And finally, let's either tone down the issues of BBI and the other issues that we are talking about, or we abandon 2022 discussions. It is too early to start focusing on politics, especially divisive politics. And let us also ask ourselves the fundamental questions. Are the things that are in the BBI, the ones that are making us right now go the direction we are going, how will they prevent us from funding the tensions in the future? Thank you so much, and once again I welcome you to celebrate 30 years
30
with
years.
us. Yes.
Indeed, we will talk about that. Thank you so much. I have been speaking to Bishop David Munyiri, Thagana, who is the founder, Glory Outreach Assembly. There we were putting things into perspective, the state of politics in the country, and more on the role of religious institutions when it comes to creating harmony, and especially now that the country's political temperatures have begun to rise steadily. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Njue. I'm handing the baton to Suleiman Yeri, who will be handling Tamlini. Thank you so much, and God bless you.